Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolutely harrowing survival story from the film Arctic. It's a tale that pushes a man to the very edge of human endurance, and then asks him to go even further. So, it all starts with this: a single, desperate message carved into a vast, empty, and totally unforgiving landscape. This is the first sign of life we see, a daily ritual, a shout into a world that might not even be listening anymore. Okay, so let's get into how our survivor, Overgard, is even managing to stay alive out here. You gotta understand, it's not about some big heroic act. It's all about a strict, repetitive routine, a daily grind. Because in a place like this, the second you let chaos in, you're dead. This daily cycle right here, this is his entire world. He maintains that giant SOS, which is really his only voice. He checks his fishing lines for precious calories. He makes that climb to the ridge to work the distress beacon, a little ritual of hope. And then he returns to his crashed plane for shelter. It's so much more than a to-do list. It's the very thing keeping him sane. But, in a place this brutal, even the best routine is fragile. Things start to go wrong, his food source starts to dry up, and then he realizes he's not alone. He is no longer the only apex predator out here. And right at this terrifying moment, when everything's falling apart, a tiny flicker of hope appears on the horizon. And this right here is a massive turning point in the story. After all this time, hope finally shows up. But what's so brilliant and honestly so cruel about this movie is how fast that moment of pure joy turns into an even bigger disaster, a whole new level of crisis. Can you imagine it? After who knows how many days of cranking that beacon and getting nothing but silence, that little light finally turns green. A signal has been received, and then he hears it, the sound of an engine. One. Just one. That singular number means everything. One survivor, one beacon, and now one helicopter. It's his one singular chance to live. He lights a flare, they spot him, and for this one beautiful, perfect moment, it looks like his nightmare is finally over. But the Arctic always has other plans. A vicious gust of wind, a sudden blizzard, and that helicopter is just engulfed. It spirals out of control and crashes not too far from his own plane. His rescue has just become another wreck in the snow. And just like that, Overgard's entire world is turned completely upside down. He rushes to the wreck. The pilot is gone, but he finds the co-pilot, a woman, still alive but critically injured. All of a sudden, he's not just a survivor anymore. He's a rescuer, and now he's responsible for someone else's life. Now, this new responsibility forces him to make an impossible choice. He gets the woman back to his makeshift shelter, but it's clear she needs real medical help, and fast. Her condition is getting worse. Staying put is now a death sentence, which means he has to do the one thing he's avoided: leave. So he finds a map in the helicopter wreckage. It points to a seasonal outpost, but it's days away, across incredibly dangerous terrain. It's a total long shot, but it's the only shot they have. He loads up a sledge with supplies and the injured women and makes the decision to risk everything for this stranger. So he's got this map, right? But a map is just a piece of paper. The reality of the Arctic is a whole different beast. It throws one life-threatening obstacle after another at him, including a massive mountain that wasn't even on the map to begin with. And this journey, man, it just absolutely brutalizes him. This is where nature itself really becomes the main villain of the story. He's being tested by the wild in every way imaginable. And it's not just about his own survival anymore. It's a fight against the elements for both of them. So they're holed up in a cave, trying to get some rest, and when you know it, that polar bear is back. It's drawn by the sound of the woman coughing and tries to force its way in. Overgard has to fight it off with his last flare in this terrifying, claustrophobic showdown. I mean, you can't even imagine how tough this is. Pulling that sledge up a mountain is basically impossible. So he has to take this long, agonizing detour. And as he's scouting ahead, exhausted, just putting one foot in front of the other, the ground beneath him just disappears. Boom. The snow gives way, and he's gone. He plummets straight into a hidden chasm, and his leg gets trapped and crushed under a huge rock. Now he's not just a rescuer, he's a casualty too. So let's just take a second to look at the situation. He's beaten, he's broken, his leg is seriously messed up, and to top it all off, that distress beacon, his only way to call for help, is smashed. He has almost nothing left. And that brings us to the end, the final moments of this ordeal. And let me tell you, it is an absolute emotional gut punch, a roller coaster of hope, followed by the most crushing despair. Somehow, he finds the strength to drag himself and that sledge over one last ridge, and he sees it. Another helicopter. On the ground. In the distance. It feels like a straight-up miracle. Rescue is right there. This is it. This is his last chance. He gives it absolutely everything he has left in his body. He's screaming, he's waving. He even sets his own jacket on fire with his last flare to make a smoke signal. It's a final, desperate plea for his fight to be seen. And they don't see him. You just have to watch as the crew, totally unaware that he's just over the hill, gets into their aircraft and just flies away. Can you imagine that feeling? The hope is just gone. There's nothing left to do. It's over. He collapses in the snow next to the woman, places her family photo on her chest, and makes one last promise to her. They're both just ready for the end. But then, just as it's all fading to black, a shadow falls over them. It's the helicopter. They're coming back down. His desperate signals, that burning jacket, they saw it. At the very last possible second, they saw it. They are saved. It really makes you think, right? Odegaard's journey started as a simple fight for his own life, but it ended up being about so much more. His story shows that sometimes, in the face of impossible odds, the ultimate act of survival isn't just fighting for yourself, but fighting for someone else.